Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, guys. Rafael Fiziev is back again, and this time he's fighting the number 15th ranked Torres. So this is honestly an interesting fight because even though I feel like it's really one-sided when it comes to the match itself stylistically and when you involve the rankings and stuff, but the thing is, honestly, at this point, Rafael Fiziev definitely deserves an easy fight like this. I'm not disrespecting Torres in any way. He is the 15th ranked best fighter in the world, and he absolutely deserves the ranking. But all I'm saying is right now, Rafael Fiziev, for his previous few fights, he has only been going through like absolutely dangerous guys. For example, he's the one who showed up in 2 weeks notice to fight Justin Gaethje last year, and even though during that time the main talk was the mentality of the fans were Gaethje is washed, Fiziev he has a chance to somehow beat Gaethje, but now we know how dangerous Justin Gaethje was, and the risk that Rafael Fiziev actually took, and he still went to the distance. Really impressive, and it was a banger fight as well. And after that, he obviously fought, or yeah, he was supposed to win at least Charles Oliveira in Brazil in the main event of the fight date, but of course he due to an injury had to pull out. And since then he fought Mauricio Hufi, who he's just been on an absolute tear, isn't he? Most recently knocking out Michael Chandler in the first round. So yeah, after all of this, I feel like he does deserve to fight. No disrespect to Torres, but a bit of a no-name, I guess. And yeah, for sure he deserves to be the main event of this fight. But yeah, honestly, it's not that bad of a fight night. Like I know a lot of well-known names are fighting on this card. For example, Ikram Aliskerov, Nazim Sadikov, and the co-main event as well. Shara Magomedov versus Michel Pereira. Hopefully, inshallah, Shara Magomedov will absolutely destroy and break Pereira's face. Honestly, I really hope that happens. But yeah, for this fight, Fiziev versus Torres, right? I honestly, personally, I got Rafael Fiziev by round 3 knockout. I know it's a 5-rounder, but the thing is, Fiziev, he's still really underrated in my opinion. Even though I personally picked him against Mauricio Hufi, and obviously saw levels. Hufi was absolutely on his face during the entire fight. I mean, that was an absolute masterclass by Hufi, honestly. Really impressive by that guy. But yeah, even though I did pick him as underdog, and of course he got battered, but right now still, I mean, this fight is pretty obvious Fiziev is gonna win. Even though it might be a war, he might, I mean, Fiziev is someone who does get hit a lot, right? So from that perspective, I guess it does make sense. But honestly, it should be pretty one rounded, honestly. And Fiziev is the one who is carrying the card, right? Like, he is the big name in this entire event. But yeah, even though honestly I feel like Rafael Fiziev, people are still overlooking. People are still looking at him just like another another one of these guys. But I honestly feel like after this fight and maybe one more against maybe a rematch against Moicano, that'll be a good fight. Then he deserves a top 5 again. This time actually give him somewhat of an easy fight in the top 5, because whenever he fights top 5 guys, right, he only fights absolute killers. So yeah, I feel like he does deserve an easy one. For example, BSD, for example, yeah, stylistically really like not that hard of a fight for him. BSD, maybe after or if he loses to Paddy Pimblett. But yeah, when it comes to the co-main event prediction, Shara Magomedov versus Michel Pereira, yeah, Shara Magomedov by second round or third round TKO. Honestly, bro, and I know that Shara Magomedov, he recently, especially after the MVP fight, right, he has not been looking that well, Shara Magomedov. But after when you pair him up against someone as as bad as Michel Pereira, usually I say no disrespect to the fighter, but this one I absolutely mean the disrespect. So yeah, I hope he beats the shit out of Michel Pereira and knocks him out. Absolutely mobs the floor with this guy, because this guy absolutely deserves Michel Pereira. So yeah, Shara Magomedov by absolute domination. Hopefully we see a broken face after the end of the fight, and hopefully it's not Shara's. I mean, it will never be Shara's, but Michel, his striking is nothing, bro. But yeah, also as I said, other fighters like Nazim Sadikov and Ikram Aliskerov are making comebacks. So even though their opponents are relatively unknown, to be honest, still Nazim Sadikov, hopefully he'll get a fight of the night also. And I know he has been coming off of a really tough loss actually against Fiziev, and that was I mean, in that fight he was an underdog as well, firstly. And I personally was picking him, honestly. I thought he had it in him, but like when it comes to just the skill level and the level of striking, he's just not as good as someone like Fiziev. And Ikram Aliskerov, yeah, I know, he obviously lost to Robert Whittaker a few years back, and then came back to fight Jongyang Park, a few, by the end of last year, I believe. That one was obviously, pretty easy for him. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna get this one done as well. But yeah, anyways, that's my take on this, guys. A quick breakdown for most of the notable fights in this card. You guys have make sure what you guys think, and I know I've been a bit inactive recently. I'm sorry, it's my bad. I have no excuses for it, but inshallah I won't do that anymore, and I'll continue to upload every single day from today going onwards. And tomorrow I'll make the boots versus Zaya's prediction as well. So yeah, inshallah, see you next time. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.